A county court jury has found a man from a high-profile family guilty of raping a woman in 2024. Suppression orders have prevented the media naming the accused man and publishing details about his well-known family. He will face court next week for a pre-sentence hearing. Let's talk about what's happening right after this. Just a little warning note that this story contains content that may be distressing to some of you who are listening to my voice. So anyway, we shall get started. A man from a high-profile Victorian family slumped back in his seat and covered his face as a jury found him guilty of raping a woman last year. The jury's verdict left the man's family stunned. His mother began sobbing loudly, and his girlfriend needed treatment for shock. He was taken into custody and will face court on December 12 for a pre-sentence hearing. During the trial, the victim testified that she was in a dark bedroom when the man snuck in, climbed into bed, and digitally raped her in January 2024. Prosecutors alleged he then took steps to cover his tracks, feigning innocence and doctoring an Uber receipt to create doubts that his friend was a perpetrator. After the verdict, Judge Greg Lyon said there had been a chain of conscious and deliberate conduct afterwards, which added to the seriousness of the offending. At the start of the trial, the man pleaded not guilty, with his lawyers telling the county court the woman got it wrong. However, the jury delivered guilty verdicts on 2 rape charges following a day of deliberations. The man now faces the prospect of a years-long jail sentence. The case has been shrouded in secrecy since charges were laid in mid-2024. Suppression orders have prevented the media naming the accused man and publishing details about his well-known family. By extension, the suppression order also covered the accused man's girlfriend and his friend, who are key witnesses in the trial. The victim could not be named due to laws that prevent sex crime complaints about being identified without consent. The man's parents made no comment as they left court. For this story, we'll be using pseudonyms for the 4 key people in the case: John, the man on trial; Sarah, his girlfriend; Ryan, the accused man's friend; and Chloe, the complainant. The trial centered around events early on January 2024 when the group were at John's house. The court heard that after a night of drinking, John and Sarah went to bed while Ryan and Chloe had consensual sex in another bedroom. Chloe said Ryan left the room, intending to catch an Uber home. Prosecutors alleged John then opened a door to Chloe's room and told her Ryan's Uber had been cancelled and Ryan would be back in a couple of minutes. But the Crown alleged it was John and not Ryan who returned to the darkened room. He allegedly climbed into bed with Chloe and digitally penetrated her without consent. Chloe told the man to stop, suspecting it was John. However, John pretended to be his friend, the prosecutors alleged. Chloe said she felt and saw John's distinctive long hair and that he fled into the room after she told him, "I know it's you." John later re-entered the room and asked Chloe what happened. Prosecutor Jeremy Williams described the attack as a rape through deception. For more than a day in the closed court, Chloe gave evidence and was cross-examined by the defense. John's barrister, David Hallows SC, said Chloe got it wrong and told the jury his client was innocent. John decided to step into the witness box and testify, telling the jury he never raped Chloe. "I never went into that room," he said. Ryan also denied returning to the room after having consensual sex with Chloe. He testified that after leaving the bedroom, he moved his car out of a driveway and then got an Uber to his parents' house at 1:58 a.m. At 2:15 a.m., Chloe texted Ryan, "Are you still here?" Soon after, he replied, saying that he was at home. It left the jury with a key issue to ponder. If Chloe was raped, did the evidence show beyond reasonable doubt that John was responsible? Chloe was adamant she had been raped and that her attacker was John, the court heard. She sent numerous messages to friends, including to John's girlfriend, Sarah. "I really don't want to have to say this. I love you, but John assaulted me last night," she wrote. After Ryan left, he came into the room I was in and pretended to be Ryan. I told him to stop, but he pinned me down and kept doing stuff to me even though I told him to stop. The court heard Sarah quizzed her boyfriend about the serious accusations. John said he panicked and, in a bid to convince his girlfriend he was innocent, doctored Ryan's Uber receipt to make it appear as if his girlfriend stayed in the house longer than he had. I guess that fake Uber receipt was just to show that it wasn't me that went into that room, he said. In the witness box, John denied the forgery was intended to shift blame to Ryan. John's defense barrister, David Hallows, returned to the forged Uber receipt when closing his case to the jury. It's a stupid lie, but it's not a lie that shows he's guilty, Mr. Hallows said. But Mr. McWilliams, for the prosecution, told jurors John was not a truthful witness. The only reason he's conducted himself in the way that he has is because he's guilty of raping Chloe, he said. At the end of Friday's hearing, Judge Lyon rejected a request from John's lawyers for him to remain on bail while awaiting sentencing. In Victoria, the maximum penalty for rape is 25 years, with the charge carrying a standard sentence of 10 years. For sexual assault support lines, you can contact 1-800-RESPECT National Helpline on 1-800-737-732, Men's Referral Service on 1300-766-491, Lifeline on 131114 and a 24-hour crisis line, Victims of Crime Helpline on 1-800-819-817, and Full Stop Australia on 1-800-385-578.